Alright, starting with number 7. First thing you need to do is find the slope. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's going to be negative 5 minus a negative 8 divided by negative 6 minus negative 2. Negative 5 minus negative 8, that's negative 5 plus 8, that's 3. And negative 6 minus negative 2, that's minus 6 plus 2, that's minus 4. So our slope is minus 3/4. Now at this point you have to make a decision. To find the equation of the line, you can either use y equals mx plus b or y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Personally, I prefer y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 for this problem. I prefer y equals mx plus b when I know the y-intercept, but I don't know the y-intercept, and I know I don't know the y-intercept because neither of those numbers is 0. To know the y-intercept, you've got to have 0, comma, something. Okay, so I come in, I just plug my numbers in here. Y minus negative 8 equals m was negative 3/4. Oops, negative 3/4, not negative 3/2. Times x minus negative 2. Now, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to a test, that's a perfectly acceptable answer. Unfortunately, my lab is a little bit fussier than me, and it requires it to be in y equals mx plus b form. So we got to do a little bit of simplifying. So I'm going to write this as y plus 8 equals, and I'm going to distribute this negative 3/4 through, so that's negative 3/4 x. And then inside here, I've got a minus and a minus, so that's going to be a plus. But I'm multiplying that by a minus 3/4, so altogether that's going to be a minus. And minus 3/4 times 2 is minus 3/2. And then finally, I've got to subtract 8 on both sides. Final answer looks like y equals negative 3/4 x minus, let's see, minus 3/2 minus 8. Minus 8 is minus 16/2. So minus 3/2 minus 16/2 is minus 19/2. Alright, there's the first one. Next one. Let's find the equation of the line through the point 5, 14 parallel to this given line. Well, in order to find the equation of the line, again, we need to know the slope. To find the slope, I'm going to take this given line and I'm going to get y all by itself. So I subtract the 13x. Minus 14y equals minus 13x plus 9. Divide by negative 14. Make sure you do it everywhere. Y equals 13 over 14x minus 9/14. Okay, so the line they gave me, there's the slope right there, 13 over 14. And since we want a line which is parallel, that means we want exactly the same slope. So my answer is going to be y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. And I plug in all my numbers. Y minus 14 equals m, which was 13 over 14, times x minus 5. Once again, for my lab, you have to get this in y equals mx plus b form. So y minus 14 is 13 over 14x minus 65 over 14. Add 14 to both sides. Y equals 13 over 14x. And I'm going to use my calculator this time to add these fractions. Negative 65 over 14 plus 14. My calculator tells me that's 131 over 14. Alright, now the next problem is very similar. They give you a point, the point 2, 5, but this time they ask you for the line perpendicular. So notice that this line that they gave us already has y all by itself. That's very helpful. The slope of this line is m equals negative 3. But that's not the slope we want, because this time they want the perpendicular line. Had they asked for the parallel line, that would have been perfect, but they didn't. They asked for a perpendicular. To find the slope of the perpendicular line, we're going to take the negative reciprocal. And that's a fancy way of saying, think of this number as being 1 over negative 3. I'm sorry, negative 3 over 1. The negative reciprocal means we flip it. That's 1 over negative 3. And then we add a negative sign. So the slope of the line we want is actually 1/3. All right, once we have that, same process as before. Y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. Y minus 5 equals 1/3 times x minus 2. And once again, we have to simplify. Y minus 5 equals 1/3 x minus 2/3. We add 5 to both sides. I'm going to think of 5 as being 15 over 3. So, final answer. Y equals 1/3 x plus 13 over 3. Okay, I'm going to skip number 12. You asked me about that one. But number 12 is kind of a combination of number 10 and number 11. What you have to do for number 12 is get y all by itself first to find the slope. And then once you find the slope, use this negative reciprocal idea. Alright, the last problem gives us a picture and wants us to find the equation of the line. Now what I did is I looked very carefully at the picture and I found 2 points that looked like they sat right on corners. And so the 2 points that I found were -1, 5 and 2, 0. To find the equation of the line, we find the slope. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 0 minus 5 over 2 minus -1. That's -5/3. Once we know the slope, we should be getting familiar with this by now. Y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. We've used that for every problem. Comes up a lot in this section. Y minus 5 equals -5/3 times x minus -1. I'm just going to write that as x plus 1. And finally, once again, we simplify. We get the y all by itself. Y minus 5 equals -5/3 x minus 5/3. Add the 5 to both sides. And again, I'm going to think of 5 as 15/3. Y equals -5/3 x plus 10/3. Okay, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have more questions.